Naitwa Damaris Waithera na mimi ni mwishi wa Njoro, ninaishi hapa Njoro na mimi ni mama mboga. Kuna kitu inaniudhi sana kwa president kwa sababu wakati alikuwa anatuomba kura alituambia mama mboga boda boda atajua mambo yetu. Na kutoka siku hiyo sisi ni tumekuwa kunyanyazwa sisi wa mama wa mboga. Na alikuwa ametuahidi ya kwamba atatusaidia na atatuinua. Akasema bottom up. Kwa hivyo bottom up inamaanisha alikuwa anatuinua miguu juu, pesa zimwagike achukue. Sasa kwa hivyo mimi siamini ya kwamba anasema Rigathi atatoka, na sisi tulimpatia kura kwa sababu ya Rigathi. Kwa sababu sisi ndio tunajua shida ya Reprieve vile tunakuanga naye. Niko na uchungu nikijua kuna wazazi wangu walikufa wakati ya crisis ya Banti Forest mahali alienda kuchoma kanisa. Tunajua hiyo yote. Lakini tulikuwa tumemsamea na tumefanya nini? Tumeisha hiyo maneno na tukampatia kura. Kwa hivyo kama Rigathi anatoka, watoke wote. Na sio president peke yake, mpaka ma MC mpaka ma MP wote watoke waende. Wamechoka na pesa zetu na wametukura tumetosha. Hata yeye atuelezee utajiri wake iko wapi na alitoa wapi. Akituambia Rigathi ameiba, hata yeye ameiba.
Welcome to the bold analysis, ladies and gentlemen. The deputy president have 2 days either to resign or make a conscious decision to face the impeachment. There is an emerging position that the DP will resign, but we are yet to see that. These two newspaper headlines clearly capture how a government that rode on a hustler, mwananchi narrative got its priorities all wrong. And because how can we be having public hearings to impeach a deputy president when the public health and social insurance is in shambles? Just yesterday, we saw devastating stories of patients in agony. The agony of patients who are seeking dialysis and they are being shown the door. They're being thrown out of hospitals because the hospitals cannot take up the share without a legitimate contract between the private facilities and the government. And the hospitals were asking patients to fork millions of shillings, thousands of shillings from their pockets before they get healthcare services. But as we talk about that, the country is occupied. The executive is occupied with a business of changing the second in command. And after overwhelming rejection of the motion dubbed Kufa Makanga, Kufa Dereva, I have seen a spin by government bloggers who are now running a propaganda on what exactly Kenyans really said. I want us to look at a couple of these. Here is, we saw yesterday, we saw on Friday about what different Kenyans from different parts of the country were saying. They denounced the impeachment and demanded that both Ruto and Rigathi to leave. And now government has said that this spin propaganda of 90% of Kenyans are supporting Rigathi impeachment, 5% said no, and 5% are undecided. Remember, this is a lie, but it's part of the propaganda. And I'm looking at it because I took keen action because I wanted to see what government will do next after this spin propaganda. The same propaganda is going on in this other graphic here. Now this one is saying 85 are saying yes, no is 5, and then undecided 10. There's another spin propaganda by the state machinery. And the other one is people said Kufa Dreva, Kufa Makanga. Now the state operatives are spinning it to Kufa Makanga, Okoa Inchi, impeach Rigathi. You know, and now that tells you that there is something that the state machinery got terrified about, is the story that Kenyans are demanding more, or rather that Kenyans are rejecting that sort of impeachment. So they decided to run that spin narrative on that impeachment. Now, on Friday night, the President Ruto was holed up in a meeting, in a crisis meeting with national security think tanks and political advisors, just to checkmate, or rather to have some surgery on the brutal state of the nation, as the public participation that had been organized to try to hear what the country is saying turned tragic, and the government was slapped with a harsh reality that a referendum on the government of the day would mean they will all go home. So away from what the spin masters are doing, the reality that I think the president do not even need those advisors to tell him. He just needs to spend some time and even go to comment section of his post. Well, yesterday, Kenyans got into the comment section of President Ruto's posts in Facebook, and they were really telling him, Ruto must go, Ruto must go. So, that meeting was actually convened by the president to assess the state of the nation and the danger that was lying ahead, because the outcome of the public participation is something that probably not quite a number of them expected. Now, I want to look at the stakes within the crisis that the security team are foreseeing in that regard, the impeachment, in respect to the reaction of Kenyans on public participation. Looking at how Kenyans reacted on public participation, I think it's already, it can give a serious government a rough idea on how Kenyans can react with such motions, with that motion. But to give you a good basis, I like what Mijungu said here, that the DP has between today and Monday to resign, and he might resign to face, instead of facing that impeachment. Can you listen to Mijungu? I wanted us to get, because there is something he's saying there that I want to react to, because it is attached to amongst the stakes that the security team are foreseeing on this matter of impeachment.
Good people, have you been watching television this morning? And you know, things are thick. Things have totally fallen apart. But it's interesting the perspectives that everyone is bringing on board today. I have watched from across, and if it was left to Kenyans, I don't know how this is going to go. But it's left to the members of parliament, and those hypocrites in the National Assembly are going to impeach the Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua on Tuesday. I call them hypocrites because for the last 2 years, these members of parliament have never called out the Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua. They've not even come close to censuring him in the National Assembly for all these things they're supporting right now that are included in this motion of impeachment. The hypocrites, because when Kenya was getting here, when the Deputy President, for example, was getting here, amassing that wealth, violating the Constitution, grossly misconducting himself, no one of them spoke. And now they have coalesced around an agenda brought by Mwenge Mutuse, and they are going to impeach the Deputy President. Take it to the bank. On Tuesday, they are impeaching the Deputy President. His hope is in the Senate, not even in the judiciary. Because once the Senate confirms this impeachment, the Deputy President will go. So, the reason why I'm here this morning is because I said by Friday, the Deputy President will resign. And by Friday, he has made up his mind. He is going to resign. He is going to resign before the impeachment motion is discussed in the National Assembly. This gives us 2 days, Sunday or Monday. And my point today is this. The government side of the president now, of the President William Ruto, not of the broad-based government, has to start preparing to fight fire, damage control, crisis control, because what the deputy president is going to do, owing to this fact, and I always like to give a chronology of events. Now, in the last 3 weeks alone, the deputy president has given more media engagements, interviews from Citizen Television, where he banned the bridge, to vernacular stations, to the last one that I think he gave on Tuesday this week. He has given more media engagements than any other time in the last 2 years in just less than 3 weeks. So he will do the last act, and the last act is this. He is going to hold a press conference, a live press conference, Sunday or Monday, just before he resigns. Because the reason why I'm saying he will resign is because he has political ambitions. He wants to be the president of this country at some point. He may still want to be governor or member of parliament. But if you're impeached, you can't be any of that. So because he has political ambitions, he is going to resign. He will not wait for this impeachment. And this impeachment is happening, regardless of the feeling of people, what people are saying on the ground. That they should, both of them go, that there are pressing problems in this country, which I agree with, that the presidency needs to address. But this is a political process. Let it happen. Let us stretch our constitution to the logical conclusion and see what it can do for us. So, now that I've told you why I think anaenda kuchoma, kuban, then he's going to go away. He's going to hold a press conference, and he is going to indict this government in a way that we've never seen before. He is going to choma properly. Remember, he's alluded to it. He said that if you do this, I will say this. Once he does that, he will table his resignation. And he will go and try to reinvent himself. Because I don't see the Senate serving him. Now, dealing with 47 or all the 60 plus members of the Senate is easier than even dealing with the National Assembly. Remember, the National Assembly is not the trial house. The trial house is the Senate, where they will go charge by charge, accusation by accusation, until the last one. So what is my point today? These hypocrites are going to impeach the deputy president. The other thing is that the deputy president is going to ban anaenda kuchoma in a press conference. Then Monday or Tuesday, just before he's impeached, he's going to resign. But President William Ruto can still save the situation. He can call his troops off. He can call the members of parliament off. That is one thing that can happen. Or, now that Central Kenya members of parliament are freaking out left, right, center and trying to withdraw from this motion, they don't want to own it, the deputy president can marshal numbers. I wonder how. But if it goes the way it's going, choma, resign. Let them deal with it after that. But he's going to choma. Choma about what? Everything that we don't know in this government is going to confirm. But remember, he's not the only one who can also speak, because even this other side can speak the way they're speaking through that petition. But let's watch. Sunday, Monday. If he waits for impeachment, he's being impeached, and that's the end of his political life. The end of his political life, if he's impeached. Does he have ambition? Will he want to still run for an office? Yes. He's pretty young. He'll not wait to be impeached. He will resign. Monday, Tuesday, today, Friday, his mind is made. He is going.
Now, he's saying Rigathi will ban the house before he leaves. I think he's already started banning it. Ni moto ya mwisho maybe hajawasha. And as what Mejunga is saying there, the president will choose, the deputy president will actually ban that house and bring the whole house down before he leaves. On whether the deputy president should resign or not, it's a delicate balance for Rigathi Gachagua. Because if you look at what the people are saying, the people are standing with him. But they can only stand with him because he makes more relevance as a deputy president. But you're not sure that the forces behind the DP's impeachment would actually get suppressed by what the people of Kenya are saying, or they'll push through. Because a past perspective, if you look at a historical perspective of how Kenya Kwanza has been operating, William Ruto knew and was told that housing levy was unpopular. He was told that finance bill was unpopular. And he was told that the funding model was not working. He was told that the SHA transition is not working. But all that has been forced down on people's throat. So the deputy president understands well that his boss is a man who does not back down easily. So much as they want to cling on and believe that there will be some white smoke from State House at some point on this impeachment, it's a delicate balance. But if I was to advise the deputy president, I would say that I know the moment the process starts from the National Assembly, if the law would allow him to resign after National Assembly, I think going throughout this process to Senate will also help us test our parliament, test our courts. However, Rigathi Gachagua is dealing with unknown. You don't know how much the senators can be given, even to trash everything in terms of evidence and impeach you. And you don't know the level of infiltration that state can do in the judiciary so that they can get their way out. So it's a delicate balance, but I just hope that within the time he'll be able to make the right decision. Now, the question on the stakes of the country, the crisis, the security team, the stakes they are seeing on that impeachment are very huge. Looking at that public participation, number one is what the first stake is the public reaction if Rigathi resigns. And I want to also ask you, what do you think will be the mood of the country if Rigathi decides to resign tomorrow? You can take a minute and give us your feedback in that comment section. What do you think how Kenyans will react if Rigathi decides to resign? Why am I saying that? If you listen to Mwangi wa Iria and Kabongo, they've all been telling the deputy president that you cannot be in government and still oppose it. So if you want to fight it, then you must walk out and be the opposition leader.
Mimi si mtu wa kutasema mambo. Mimi nasema vile naona, vile ilivyo na vile mambo iko. Hii shida ambayo inamhusu Gachagua, hii ni shida ya kujiletea. Huu ni mwimba wa kujidunga. Wakati tulianzana na hii serikali ya Kenya Kwanza, Gachagua aliambia Wakenya kote nchini kwamba hii serikali yake na William Ruto ni serikali ya hisa, ni serikali ya shareholders. Nilikuwa mtu wa kwanza kumkosoa. Nikamwambia vile umesema wewe unataka Kenya igawanyike. Na nikawaambia okay, sisi hatuna shida basi. Kama unataka hivyo, watu wakafikiri mimi napiga serikali. Mimi nilikuwa naongea kwa utani, nione kama watu watanishika vizuri. Nikasema basi kama Gachagua umesema hivyo, basi tuwe na bedela mbili. Hivyo sasa hivyo kama mbili. Na nilikuwa nasema hivyo nikijaribu kumuonyesha hiyo njia unasema unaelekea ni ya kuitenganisha taifa la Kenya. Kama vile mataifa kama Sudan vile iko. Paka bedela inakatwa mara mbili. Na hiyo ndio njia ya umwagikaji wa damu. Hiyo gospel akaspread.
partly, I want to avoid looking like I have made up my mind that the deputy president must go. But he needs to deal with those issues. The last few weeks, there were not issues. It was hearsay. No, Murima, Inapigwa, Nini. And I said to myself at some point, please don't drag us there. This Mulima is a very sensitive place. Mambo ya kisiasa. Because kwa hiyo block, watu wote huiona like a voting block. But I say to myself, I look back now and look at the last 2 years. My deputy president, what has he been doing? You understand? He may have been impeaching himself. You understand?
No.
I'm saying William Ruto had issues with Uhuru Kenyatta. He managed to navigate in very extraneous circumstances. He managed somehow, to deal with those issues.
Did William manage or did Uhuru manage to ignore?
Well, you need to be able to be managed or manage.
Oh, okay.
One of the two. Or play around. Sugarcoat when needs be. When you're together, inama. You understand? And it's never been an issue for us in the mountain that if he had come to us, for example, and said, these Mau Mau roads that Uhuru started, pesa yake nimejaribu iwekwe, wamekataa. That is an issue that touches very many counties in the Mulima. You understand? Tuliweka pesa ya kahawa, hawa watu wakatoa. That is another issue. You understand? So that you are telling us from here, we participated in making government, but we are not getting services. You understand? And Kenya is not Mulima, neither is Mulima Kenya. You understand? It's part of Kenya. So please, the rest of the world should not look at us as people who just like to complain. We now have an issue. It's a mountain and we need to deal with it. We need to deal with it. It is now Rigathi Gachagua, His Excellency. It is his issue now. You understand?
Munamruka.
I'm saying, you have read... You have read the charges, Latif.
Yes.
You understand? Even if Kabako wanted to help, yeah? How do I come and explain the hotels? How can I help Rigathi? He's the only one who can tell us, I took a loan of this much to buy these things. You understand? You get? I did this to get this. You have been charged. No matter how much we feel for him, you cannot go there and help him. It is him who has to wriggle out of this thing. You understand? And politics aside, surely. This is not the deputy president of Nyeri. He is the deputy president of the Republic of Kenya.
Don't you think, William, that the charges are coined in such a way that they make him sound and appear to be the deputy president?
The lawyer of an alleged criminal who has killed someone, they come to court to fight to get them off the hook.
Yep.
And use any means possible legally. And dance in court and make sure that everybody looks like this is coined. You understand? But it is coined. It is there. It is done. It is imezungushwa mpaka imeshonwa. Sasa iko hapo ni charge. You have to deal with it even if it was a court of law. No matter how much emotions it may carry, at some point, he has to deal with it.
What is deal?
That is it. So the public, now, that is why I wanted to push it this way. The public, looking at the reactions of Kenyans are saying, and they are seeing that it is William Ruto that is chasing Rigathi. Now, if Rigathi resigns, government might turn and spin it that he just feared that he was guilty, and that is why he decided to leave. If he knew that he was clean, he would have just faced the process. That's what the government will say. However, there is also there's some quarter of the population that will believe that William Ruto has frustrated the deputy president to an extent of him deciding to leave the government. Now, to that end, much as they might push Rigathi to resignation, but looking at how things have been, the push on now we've removed Rigathi, let's see how you deliver, will actually emerge. And if you look at how people have been reacting. The second concern the security team are also reality that they're also confronting the president with is the danger of president's direct hand on removal of the deputy. I want to explain this. The danger of Ruto's hand in it. What Kenyans have said is they don't have a problem in the deputy president. That's what Kenyans have said. They're saying, we don't have a problem with the deputy president. We have a problem with the Kenya Kwanza administration. So kufa dereva, kufa makanga. Even though we need to tell you that a constitution does not envision that. You cannot have impeachment of both president and the deputy at the same time. Because impeachment is a political process, but it cannot be used. The framers of the constitution did that to ensure that there is no window for a total vacuum in the presidency. So they cannot be kufa makanga, kufa dereva. They can only be kufa makanga, baadaye, then the dereva picks another makanga, then kufa dereva, then makanga will remain. For example, Ruto has to pick a deputy, then when there is a deputy, is when Kenyans now seek petition to remove the president. Very interesting turn. Now, if MPs will defy the public and vote DP Ruto's out, the perception, or rather, what shall have come out is that MPs have taken instructions from the president and they've decided to disassociate with what the public is saying, and they've decided to listen to one man, William Ruto. On that end, we saw 2022, we saw finance bill protest erupting into Salimia MP, and some MPs were really lynched. In Mount Kenya, there's some members of parliament that cannot confront, cannot stand before their constituents, just on the mere fact, just on the fact that they signed that motion of impeachment against the deputy president. The third issue, and is giving the security team a big headache, is the security operation, or rather the security of the country and of the MPs during the Tuesday debate and even the voting. And what is bringing this? From Tuesday, people have seen the way, MPs have seen the way Kenyans have reacted. And this will be, we have a very interesting week, by the way. I can tell you, we have a very interesting week. So that we know, we want to hear how MPs are going, whether they're going to represent the views of their constituents, what their constituents are saying. So, on 18th and 25th, during that finance bill, chaos and that protest erupted the day MPs were supposed to vote, or rather the day MPs were voting. Yes. So if MPs are also going to go against that position, the Tuesday and the Thursday, where voting is, when the voting is supposed to be done, are very crucial dates. And it's upon the security operators to see how they can secure the country. Because there seems to be some other, the mood of the country is not very good. And the people are feeling some injustice that is being meted on the Deputy President, Rigathi Gachagua. Now, the fourth stake or concern is William Ruto's exit strategy to forestall his crucifixion by even own Kalenjin base. Yesterday, and just one video that I did yesterday, you can clearly see that what we are going to do, you can clearly see that the Kalenjin base also confronted the president and said, you are the one who brought Rigathi Gachagua to us. We didn't know Rigathi Gachagua. So if there is a problem between you and the Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua, don't bring us in that problem. And they declined to take position so that they can oppose the Deputy President, so that they can support the Deputy President impeachment. So from Nandi, Bomet, Baringo, Nakuru, I think those are the counties that I saw. Yeah, we saw clips from Baringo, Nandi, Nakuru, Bomet, and Narok. There was an overwhelming reaction that Rigathi Gachagua impeachment is an ill motive. So Ruto has to look for an exit strategy. Should he make a call for Rigathi Gachagua to offer public apology? But how can Rigathi Gachagua make a public apology if even the president, how can he respond to the president and apologize to the president if the president himself has not gone to public and explained to us why exactly the DP is out? Number 5 is the collapse of UDA party. Outright. And this is political think tanks. I said the moment the president brought in the Farouk Kibet, the Oscar Sudis as political operatives and machineries, he missed it. From what is really going on, the UDA party is facing an imminent collapse just because of this. And lastly, damage control if impeachment proceeds. There is another question of if impeachment proceeds. And at one point, I don't believe, and I agree with Mijungu, that the hypocrites in parliament are going to vote out DP. And he survives in Senate. How do government manage that backlash? Or even if it proceeds against the people's wish, how do you manage the narratives outside here? Is you continue with something that members of the public are telling you we don't agree. Ladies and gentlemen, that is my take. Let's meet in the next. I want to reach out to our viewers from Kitui. The Granny Care program, which normally used to support the elderly, we are going to do it 1st of November to 5th. 1st to 5th of November in Kitui. So if you're a church leader in Kitui and you are doing something with the elderly or area chief or someone, Kitui, any part of Kitui, you can contact us. The email is here. You can contact us so that we can establish contact and prepare to do Kitui mission. We did Kano, elderly, we did Kilifi. The next is 1st to 5th of November. We are going to do Kitui. So get to us to prepare ground to kuje. Our intervention is on shelter. Awe ana nyumba. Yeah, I know, maybe in food. Yeah, but we really focus on the shelter. Thank you.